Hello and welcome back to our Lord of the Rings LCG solo progression series. And today's quest is the nightmare version of We Must Away Ere Break of Day, which was the first scenario in the Overhill and Underhill Deluxe expansion, and the first scenario out of 6 total scenarios in the Hobbit saga. A quick reminder, in this series we're playing through each quest in chronological order of the game's initial release, and we'll only be using player cards that were available at the time of this quest's release. I'm calling this deck Dawn Take This Quest. I really do not like this quest. It's my least favorite by a pretty wide margin. Well, I would say I hate it as much as the original. I don't like We Must Away a Break of Day, and the Nightmare's even worse because of Mince Them Fine. You might remember when I played through We Must Away a Break of Day, I made it a little more interesting, at least in my mind, by trying to quest for 1500. Not going to try to do that. I definitely, at this point in the progression, could do a lot more than 1500 willpower, but I'm not going to mess around with that. We're just going to try to get this done and behind us as quickly as we can. Elenor is really important to keep from losing during setup. If you get mince them fine during setup, you lose. So she helps us to not lose. And then we just have a lot of location or encounter deck control, Denethor and Unexpected Courage, of course. But then also a Watchful Peace and a Shadow of the Past can help us during the first few rounds to keep from seeing a mince them fine and losing the game. Well, let's get to the quest and see how we do. Opening hand's not good. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. Okay. That's better. I would like some card draw, but we also have this, the ability to keep. If we have an innocent card come out, one that we don't mind so much, we can sort of keep putting it back into on top of the encounter deck until we get things ramped up. Okay, so here is Bilbo Baggins. He is the Baggins Sphered hero that's included in the Overhill and Underhill Deluxe expansion. First player gains control of Bilbo Baggins. Bilbo Baggins cannot gain resources from player card effects. So the Nightmare setup tells us to remove the following cards in the following quantities, and to shuffle in the Nightmare cards. The only change between this and the original quest is the objective cards Troll Key and Troll Purse gain Surge. Let me show you those. These are the objectives that have to do with getting the treasure cards. In the original quest, they would come out during staging and just sit there, and that was your staging. But now they would surge. And while we're at it, I'll go ahead and show you some of the cards. I mean, this one's tough, I guess, if you actually are sacked. It kills your sacked hero or character. But mince them fine. There's 3 of these. And if one comes out during setup, it says, when revealed, each engaged troll enemy makes an immediate attack. If the players are at stage 1, immediately advance to stage 2A. So there are 42 cards in this deck. 3 cards, that's a pretty high percentage that can come out. And if it does, you advance immediately to stage 2, and suddenly you have all these trolls in play, and you just get ganked. So we have Elenor. She can use her response during setup, and that helps us to lose less often. Okay, here's an unexpected party. The wizard Gandalf has chosen Bilbo Baggins to join Thorin and company on their quest to the Lonely Mountain. For setup, we remove and shuffle the 7 sack cards into a sack deck and set it aside face down. Here is the sack deck. There's 7 cards. They're objectives, and they can be, they're thematic. They're attached to the characters, to our heroes, I think. Is it a character? Yes, characters, and they can be destroyed. And so kind of cool theme there. A little bit like Conflict of the Carrock. Remove the 3 troll enemies and the troll cave from the encounter deck and set them aside out of play. So here are the same. They're the original cards from the Quest for Not Nightmare versions. Tom, Bert, and William, and then the troll cave. Then we shuffle the encounter deck, and each player reveals 1 card. In 4-player, how easily could you get mince and fine? I can't imagine this in multiplayer. Oops. Let's shuffle our deck so we don't know what's coming there. So reveal Red River Bank. Again, if it was mince and fine, we just cancel it with Elenor. We would discard it and draw another card, but we didn't get that unlucky this time. Red River Bank says force at the beginning of the refresh phase. Place the top card of the encounter discard pile on the bottom of the encounter deck and raise each player's threat by that card's threat. Not so bad. Okay, resource phase. Oh, side B. There's just some text there, so we'll advance. Resource phase. We'll exhaust Bearvor to draw 2 cards. And we'll use Denethor's action, exhaust Denethor, to look at the top card of the encounter deck. You may move that card to the bottom of the encounter deck. Okay, I will, because that'll surge. So I don't know what's coming right now. I guess real quick, I'll put out Song of Kings. If we needed to, we could sneak attack Gandalf, and I don't know why we would need to, but I also got to leave Eleanor ready just in case. Boy, I almost could draw some cards with Gandalf with sneak attack, but we're not worried about it. We're just going to quest with Bilbo and leave Eleanor ready, and we reveal More Like a Grocer. When revealed, discard all Baggins resources. Well, we just spin it, so we kind of got lucky there. And we saw our threat go up by 1. Eleanor was ready to cancel a mince them fine. And so we will travel to Red Riverbank. And then this thing here says, at the beginning of the refresh phase, place the top card of the encounter discard pile on the bottom of the encounter deck and raise each player's threat by that card's threat. Our threat won't go up. Right now we don't have, just to be safe, rather than this moving More Like a Grocer to the bottom of the encounter deck, we could just play Shadow of the Past and move this back to the top, and that would guarantee that we don't have Mince and Fine come out or something like that while we get ourselves set up. Do I want to do that? Sure, let's just be defensive. I'll play Shadow of the Past. We're in travel phase here. I'll play Shadow of the Past, move the top card of the encounter discard pile to the top of the encounter deck. So there are no cards in the discard pile now. Refresh. At the beginning of the refresh phase, we would place the top card of the encounter discard pile on the bottom of the encounter deck and raise each player's threat by that card's threat. But we don't have any cards in the discard pile. Can't use Bearvor's action twice in one round, so we couldn't draw cards and hope for a Peace and Thought, so we'll move on to the next round. Knowing what's coming, it's going to be that More Like a Grocer. Let's draw 2 cards with Bearvor. And so we will lose a resource from Bilbo, not too big of a deal. Let's go ahead and use Eleanor's resources to pay for Unexpected Courage and attach it to Denethor. We will quest with Eleanor and with Bilbo, and we reveal More Like a Grocer. Discard all Baggins resources, so we just lost 1. 2 progress made. We'll use Denethor's action to look at the top card of the encounter deck. This is a freebie, so we'll take it. Refresh. And at the beginning of the refresh phase, we move this to the bottom of the encounter deck. And our threat doesn't go up because there's no threat value to the card. Next round. Bearvor draws us 2 cards. No Steward of Gondor yet. And we will just kind of hang on to our resources for now, I suppose. Let's quest with Bilbo and with Eleanor. And we could clear this if we want to by questing with Denethor, but I'd rather just be defensive. So we reveal 1 by 1. When revealed, choose and destroy a character with a sack card attached. We can't do it because there aren't any. Then, if that happened, return that sack card to the top of the sack deck and sack 1. But since we can't do the first thing, we can't do the second, so it just doesn't do anything. We made 2 progress. And we'll use Denethor's action. That's fine. And then we're going to refresh. At the beginning of the refresh phase, we move this to the bottom of the encounter deck. And next round. Bearvor draws 2 cards. Okay, we'll play Mithrander's Advice. Action, draw one card for each hero you control with a printed lore resource icon. All right, we're definitely going to get Steward of Gondor next round at least. I could maybe get it here if I'm not too worried about it. We'll just take a little extra time, I guess. We will quest just with Bilbo. And I'm going to cancel this with Test of Will rather than see my threat go up by 2. I don't know if that's worth it per se. Probably not. Okay, we reveal lots or none at all. When revealed, if there is a troll enemy in the staging area, sack 1. If there are no troll enemies in the staging area, this card gains Doom 2. So do I want to play Test of Will to cancel Doom 2? Nah, I'll just let my threat go up by 2. And we made 1 progress, and so this leaves play. We'll use Denethor's action. Hungry Troll. Sure. Refresh, and during the refresh action window, we're going to play Peace and Thought. Refresh action, exhaust 2 heroes to draw 5 cards. We'll exhaust Bilbo and Eleanor. We drew 5 cards. And finally got to a copy of Steward of Gondor. Okay, so next round. Let's go ahead and play A Good Harvest and name Leadership, and we'll spend 2 of Bilbo's resources to pay for Steward of Gondor. We'll attach that to Eleanor and exhaust it to gain resources. We'll exhaust Beravor to draw 2 cards. We'll spend a resource from Baravor's pool to play Mithrander's Advice. Draw 1 card for each hero you control with a printed lore resource icon. And again, this is one of those decks where we don't need 50 cards. We just have to have cards, and so we have more than we need, for sure. We don't have our second Unexpected Courage yet, but let's go ahead and put out 2 Ithir Swordsmen. Each one of them boosts each Outlands character you control gets +1 willpower. And let's put out 2 Amphalos Herdsmen. And each one of these guys boosts each Outlands character by +1 hit point. And I'll go ahead and put Fast Hitch on Bilbo. Another overkill card, really. Okay, we just need to... we don't need to quest with anybody. We reveal Hungry Troll when revealed. All this stuff happens. We'll cancel that with Test of Will. It doesn't surge. And so no progress made. We reveal or look at the top card. It's Troll Camp. That's fine. Refresh. And during the refresh action window, we'll play Peace and Thought. Refresh action, exhaust 2 heroes to draw 5 cards. Bilbo and Eleanor. All right, we got both of our missing Unexpected Courages. Okay, so next round. Steward of Gondor. Let's put out a Unexpected Courage. Let's draw 2 cards with Beravor. And then we will put out our 3rd Amphalos Herdsman. Boosting all of our Outlands characters appropriately. Let's play Daeron's Runes to draw 2 cards. And we'll discard... we don't need 3 Will of the West. We'll discard one of those. We'll play Daeron's Runes to draw 2 cards, and we'll discard Steward of Gondor. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and sneak attack Gandalf into play and lower our threat by 5. And we'll quest just so that we don't see. We just need to quest for 10, I suppose. Well, 10 would clear it. So 9, I guess, is what we want. All right, we reveal Troll Camp. We made 6 progress. And we'll travel here. Gandalf comes back to hand at the end of questing. And we'll use Denethor's action. Wicked Hilltops Forest. After placing one or more progress tokens on Wicked Hilltops, each player must discard an ally he controls without an attached sack card. Now, if you put all the progress at once, the force effect does not fire. It's the way the game works is kind of crazy, but this is not a response. So if we cleared it at once, even though we put progress on it, it just leaves play. Force effect does not fire. That's only if you clear it at once, which we can and will. So I guess we don't really mind this. At this point, we'll just live with that. Refresh. And during the refresh action window, we'll play Peace and Thought and exhaust 2 heroes to draw 5 cards. And we'll move on to the next round. Yeah, I have this one copy of, what is this called? Hasty Stroke, just in case we actually want to attack an enemy or have an enemy attack us. Like if we wanted to destroy Burt, we have the means to actually get the treasures. Let's put out our 3rd copy of Unexpected Courage. Let's play Daron's Runes. No, we don't need to. Let's draw 2 cards with Barivore. And we'll go ahead and, at the beginning of questing, we will sneak attack Gandalf into play and lower our threat by 5. And we'll quest just so that we clear Troll Camp. So we needed to quest for exactly 6. Okay, so we reveal Wicked Hilltops and we cleared Troll Camp. Gandalf comes back to hand. We travel here. We use Denethor's action. Troll Purse we will bury since it surges now. Denethor again. Comfortable Light. This is kind of a weird card. Progress cannot be placed here. To travel, you have to sack a character. So you can't put progress on it in the, like you couldn't use Asphaloth to get rid of this. The force effect says after Comfortable Light becomes the active location, discard it. So you could put Thor's Key on it, but don't ever do that and then travel here because then you just are stuck. You would lose the game because you could never clear this. So we'll just bury that. Use Denethor's action again. Hungry Troll's fine. Refresh. I think maybe we can just move on here. We've drawn all of our cards. Let's do this though. Let's go ahead and play Sneak Attack. Bring Gandalf in during the refresh phase. Lower our threat by 5. And then we'll play Will of the West with Eleanor's resource. Choose a player, shuffle that player's discard pile into his deck. Remove Will of the West from the game. So I'll delete that and all these cards come back to our deck. And we're in the refresh action window here. We can go ahead and play Daron's Runes to draw 2 cards. And we'll discard Steward of Gondor. We'll go ahead and exhaust Barivore to draw 2 cards here in the refresh action window. And then we'll play Peace and Thought, refresh action, exhaust 2 heroes to draw 5 cards. Kind of hard to see all these cards at this point. Okay, we've got all 3 sneak attacks, so I think we're just going to move on this round here. We will go ahead and Gandalf comes back to hand. And we'll refresh. Wait, I already did refresh. That was the end of the refresh phase. So next round he came back to hand at the end of the phase because of sneak attack. And now we go to the next round. And we'll play Daeron's Runes to draw 2 cards. And we'll discard Steward of Gondor. And we know it's coming, and we'll just cancel that with Test of Will. Let's go ahead and put out another Song of Kings. We'll put that on to Bilbo. We'll ready Bilbo with Fast Hitch. We're going to we'll go ahead and sneak attack Gandalf into play. With Bilbo's resource rather than Eleanor's, we lower our threat by 5. And we'll quest all out here. And reveal Hungry Troll. We'll cancel that with Test of Will. And we made 17 progress. So the way this works, this is why I didn't bury Wicked Hilltops, was just to really show you. This says after placing 1 or more progress tokens on Wicked Hilltops, each player must discard an ally he controls without an attached sack card. So any forced effect on a location cannot fire, because when you place the progress, you place it all at once. It leaves play immediately, and so there's no forced effect. I know it sounds a little strange, but it's just the way it works. So keep that in mind. If the forced somehow said after it leaves play, it does apply. This is a wonky result of just early lack of clarity of rules. But anyway, we made the necessary progress to clear an unexpected party. Okay, so we're, of course, in quest resolution. Roast mutton, obviously trolls. Even Bilbo, in spite of his sheltered life, could see that from the great heavy faces of them and their size and the shape of their legs, not to mention their language, which was not drawing room fashion at all. When revealed, add the set-aside troll enemies in the troll cave to the staging area. So here they are. And they won't bother us. Our threat is way low. Just their threat is going to just sit in staging. 23 is the lowest engagement, and they don't do anything to us unless we engage them. Then we shuffle the encounter discard pile back into the encounter deck. So we have a fresh encounter deck of 42. Side 2B says, forced if there are no troll enemies left in play, or if there are no cards left in the encounter deck, advance to the next stage. So anytime players would place progress tokens on this quest, you see it has 1 progress, but you actually can't ever place it, because if you would ever place a progress on this quest, you would rather instead you discard an equal number of cards from the encounter deck. So if I quest for 42 next round, I actually just discard 42 cards. And if there are ever no cards in the encounter deck, we advance. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it that way rather than engage in the trolls and all that rigmarole. Okay, can't travel here because it says players cannot travel the troll cave unless Bilbo Baggins has the troll key. So ended up questing again. I came back to hand. Can't travel anywhere. Let's use Denethor just to make sure nothing bad happens next round. More like a grocer is fine because we're going to spend all these resources. Refresh. Next round. Steward of Gondor. And let's play Good Harvest and name leadership, and we'll spend Bilbo's resources to pay for Faramir. And so he's out now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to exhaust him and lock him. So I'm going to prevent refresh. I'm just going to boost all my characters by +1 because he's going to exist just to boost everybody. Let's go ahead and put out our 3rd Aether Swordsman. And so now they're, boosted. All these Outlands characters are actually questing for +4. The +3 from the different Aether Swordsman, and then the +1 from Faramir. Okay, so I think we've got all of our willpower here. And I don't really need to keep drawing cards with Beravor. That's not really important anymore. So let's think here. We will just quest with Gandalf. And when he comes into play, we'll lower our threat by 5. And we're going to go all out. We're going to quest with everybody, including Beravor and including Eleanor and all that. Okay, we reveal more like a grocer. When revealed, discard all Baggins resources. Don't have any. Okay, so I made 28 progress. So this says if anytime players would place progress tokens on this quest, discard an equal number of cards from the encounter deck. Progress is placed on the active location before triggering this effect. There's a weird card in this encounter deck, so I'm going to have to actually discard them one at a time and count, because when we get to that card, we have to stop. So I have to count up to 28. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is. All right, Night Wanes Slowly says Force. When this card is discarded from the top of the encounter deck as a result of a quest card effect, which is true. This was just discarded as the result of an encounter or a quest card effect. Immediately stop making progress and end the quest phase. So we didn't actually win the quest, but it's fine. There's only 2 of these, so at some point, you run into them. You're going to at least freeze, halt your progress twice. So it'll take us 3 rounds, but no big deal. Okay, Gandalf comes back to hand. We use Denethor's action. And Wicked Hilltops is fine. What we could do, let's do this. Let's see if we could find Night Wanes Slowly. If we do, we can move it to the bottom, and then we just win next round. Just in case we somehow can find it here at the top. We'll move that to the bottom of the encounter deck. All right, we will refresh and move on to the next round. Let's play Daeron's Runes to draw 2 cards. Well, 1 card. And we'll discard one of the Gandalfs. All right, Steward of Gondor. Let's use Denethor's action. I don't want to do this too many times. Troll Camp's fine. We won't keep doing this, but let's go ahead and sneak attack Gandalf into play. And lower our threat by 5. And we're going to quest. Let's ready Denethor and quest with him as well. And we reveal Troll Camp. Oh, and this should be that... oh, never mind. This is, while Troll Camp is in the staging area, troll enemies get +1 threat for each player in the game. So this is going to actually be worth really 6 threat. Excuse me. +1 on each troll enemy. Okay, so we made 24 progress, so we're going to discard 24 cards. It won't be enough to win, but let's just do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we have to stop. Force, when this card is discarded from the top of the encounter deck as a result of a quest card effect, immediately stop making progress and end the quest. So we just ended the quest. Gandalf comes back to hand. We travel to Troll Camp. We'll ready Denethor and use his action just to see what's coming. That's fine. Refresh. And we'll go ahead and play. Well, we're about to win the quest, so next round. Steward of Gondor. And then during planning, let's go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's play Gandalf from hand and lower our threat by 5. We could get down to 0 if we wanted to, but it doesn't really matter. We're about to just win right here. And we'll quest with everybody. And we're, of course, using Faramir's action. I just leaving him exhausted. And yeah, we'll make just enough progress actually to win. 3 plus 30 minus 3 is going to be 27, which is going to be just fine. Roast them or boil them. Deal 1 damage to each ally, 2 damage instead if there is a troll enemy in the staging area. Let's cancel that with Test of Will. And we made 30 progress, meaning this clears. And then 27. And there's 26 cards. And let's just show you there's no more of that Night Wanes Slowly card in the deck. Yeah, there's no more Night Wanes Slowly. There's the Mince Them Fine, but no more Night Wanes Slowly. So knowing there aren't anymore, we can just discard. It's 27 progress, and we're just discarding these 26 cards. And it says if there are no troll enemies left in play, or if there are no cards left in the encounter deck, which there aren't any, advance to the next stage. And so Don Take You All says, Don Take You All and be stoned to you, said a voice that sounded like William's, but it wasn't, for just at that moment the light came over the hill, and there was a mighty twitter in the branches. William never spoke, for he stood turned to stone as he stooped, and Bert and Tom were stuck like rocks as they looked at him. Winterville, remove all troll enemies and sack cards from the game. So they're just removed. They don't go to the victory display, I don't think. Remove them from the game, yeah. If Troll Cave is in the victory display, the players have discovered the treasure cards Sting, Glamdring, and Orcrist. The players have won the game. Woohoo. All right, so again, my least favorite quest in the game. It's just silly. It's just the biggest aggravation is, this card, Minced and Fine. If you get it in setup, you advance to stage 2. How ridiculous is that? 4-player, I can't imagine how frustrating that would be. Everybody would have to carry copies of Test of Will. But, kind of boring stuff. I'm getting a little tired of the Denethor Barivore thing, but it just works. And it just depends. Sometimes you just can't deny the power of encounter deck manipulation and card draw. But we will gladly leave this quest behind. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope you were able to enjoy that more than I did. And I don't usually trash this game. I love it, so I won't keep doing that. I'm kind of probably hamming it up a little bit. But I do appreciate you joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.